What animal would you be in a sexual context? That is a tough one. I do like to identify with a fox, but I don't know how foxes have sex. How about you, Jonah?
I never thought about this question, so give me a moment to think.
Okay, Dita, maybe you?
I think I'd be a snail because I think they have both parts,
Yeah,
which would be awesome.
so cool.
I think that's snails, but I'm not sure. Yeah?
Yeah, also.
It is?
Yeah,
Okay.
snails.
Also snail?
And lizards. But
Well, lizard is cooler then, so I'd be a lizard
And
over,
clownfish.
over a snail. Okay, that's also fine. Just any of those.
I'll be a clownfish.
Okay, I'll be
I
a
like
snail.
that. But apparently there's only a few animals that actually enjoy having sex, and I know that's for dolphins and
Bonobos.
Really?
So maybe I
Oh.
want to be a dolphin.
Hmm.
Yeah.
But how? Okay. How do dolphins sex?
There's where they have a blowhole, so.
All right. Okay. Should I? Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
What are your earliest sexual memories? I think a lot of memories are like going in and out. Like if I have to think about the first one, then yeah, it's not that interesting, I guess. But what comes to mind when I read this, then I think about the first sexual experience I had where I enjoyed it with a woman, and that was my first girlfriend. And also the first time I had sex with a woman. Yeah. Do I have to go deeper about that?
Okay,
Which was
about
not which was not your first sexual experience, right?
Yes, yeah.
But that's the first one that comes to mind.
Yeah, because the
Okay,
other ones
so-
are with boys. And
Yeah.
that was just nothing.
But the question really is about sexual memories, because I have one where I must have been like 5 years old, and I was staying over at some party at my mom's friend's house, and I was sharing a bed with their son. And I remember he said, like, oh, I saw this with my parents do this. And I had to open my tiny little vulva lips, and he put his tiny little penis in between them, and I just remember being so bored. I was just like, yeah.
Is this it?
What is this? And why am I doing it?
Yeah,
That's one of my
that's a nice
first
one.
ones.
Yeah. Yeah. What about you?
So for me, I remember that when my parents divorced, my dad gave me a TV, probably to make up for the divorce. And then I saw the L word. And then I was like,
All right,
what is
yes.
happening? And that was my first, and then I saw a woman go down on another woman. And then I felt that I felt something.
Okay,
so
true.
that was, yeah.
I share the same. Yeah.
Nice. The L word connects people, huh? But I think when I look back, I think I would say something else if we're talking about with someone else. But if I now look back, I think one of my first memories was that I was laying in bed and I put a pillow between my legs and started humping it, and I was like, this is good.
Yeah.
Like that is my first sexual memory. It's like I did not know at the time it was like a sexual thing, but it was just like, this is nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shall I go?
Yeah, your turn.
So are these the ones we already did?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
Okay, this one is nice. How do you define sex?
Dick and vagina.
Classic,
Solely.
classic.
No.
Well, that's, I think, an interaction with a sexual intent, in a way. So, I mean, for me, kissing can be very sexual. So, yeah, it's part of sex. I mean, it's very big, right?
But if you would tell, like, if you had a date and then you go to your friend and, like, when is the moment where you'd say, yeah, we had sex? Like, where's the tipping point?
Yeah, that's a good question. Is it a tipping point, or is it like, is it a spectrum?
It's a slip and slide.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's clear. So for me, I guess, yeah, if you're making out, and it's anything over kissing and like touching with a lot of clothes, I would say that's still making out. And then when it goes further than that, I would say it's sex. But I do agree that there can be a sexual tension before there's any of that. So it's
Yeah, I think it's a hard question because define sex, like sex means basically maybe penetration, but like women on women is there penetration? I think so, but like
no, but
not
when you go down
always.
on a woman, there's, well, I mean,
yeah,
there
of course,
could be,
but
like
there are some
and that's
discussions from
sex.
certain genders about that. So like because for me it's also sex means intimacy, or when I say I had sex, that means that I had intimacy instead of I also had sex, but I don't recognize that as sex. It was more like
yeah.
kind of like a business thing or something, like without feeling and without desire. So maybe it's sex, like technically sex can be sex, but like I don't think it as that way.
Right, so you mean just sex feels a bit
Sex is
cold,
very
like
I don't like the
distant.
word sex
Superficial
in
in a
general
way,
maybe
or-
because I
But what
think
if
it's
you
more-
had sex with someone, just sex? So there was no intimacy, but you had the sex.
True. I think back
Then
in the
what
day
would you
I would
call it?
call it sex, but now
Ew.
I still think I would say I had sex, but then different kind of sex than I would have with my girlfriend, for example,
Yeah,
or
okay,
someone
but
I
that's-
really enjoyed it with. But with this question, like define sex.
What's the sex?
Then-
What's the sex? What's the question?
What's the sex?
I saw sex when I picked it up. How do you
Define
define?
sex.
How do you define then? I guess anything further than kissing. So also the touching part.
But further than kissing could also be licking someone's armpit.
Yeah, okay.
Love it.
That's why I said with like
right?
sexual intent.
Yeah,
like
true.
erotic
I think
intent.
It's the intent that
Yeah.
makes it sexual.
Because sex can also be sexual tension. It's part of sex. I mean,
Like,
I would call that
I would like to
foreplay.
Maybe there's-
deconstruct it. Like,
Maybe there's a difference between whether you talk about it with someone or whether you experience it. Because we all said that when you say I had sex, then it's different. But
Yeah.
when you experience it as a sexual experience, then that could be sex without really giving a word to it, to yourself. But then the second you start talking about it with someone, you realize, oh, maybe it wasn't really sex, or maybe it was, or
Yeah, I think
so
that
like
is-
So maybe there's-
masturbation, do we
that's
Do we
sex.
say it's
like,
sex?
To me, that's sex.
Yeah,
I think
right?
anything involving genitals.
But I mean,
Involving.
then we get back to like,
No, but it could be just my genitals, it could be a hand job, it could be, but as soon as
nipple
as
play.
soon as I'm touching my genitals or someone else is touching my genitals, it's that to me I would label as
Yeah.
sex, and there can be because a look can be sexual, and
But what if it's
kiss
dry
alone,
humping?
Like an outfit can be
Like they're not touching it, but they're humping it,
then I would say humping.
and then but then they're also
But then
touching
I would say
you.
oral.
But then they're
or-
also touching you. Then it is
I feel
it
like
kind
you-
of is. We
yeah.
were having sex, and then someone interrupted us, so we stopped. Or you would still
Yeah.
say we were having sex, right? Or
I think if clothes are still on and someone
Yeah.
caught me
Yeah,
doing
foreplay
it,
or
Yeah,
then
then
I would
it's
probably
foreplay
like say
for me.
we're
Yeah.
true,
we're
true.
But I mean, let's also say, if I talk to someone about the sex I had, I'm not gonna say I had sex. I mean, I'm gonna, you're gonna tell a little bit more. So,
bit of context.
yeah, exactly. So it's very, it depends on
Dita
which
wants to
context.
move on.
Yeah.
No, I don't.
Yeah,
No, take the car. Take the car.
I was thinking maybe,
Your turn.
maybe just a new. How do you define sex? What do your sexual fantasies include? So for me, I guess being both genders, like the snail thing is coming back. Being a snail in general.
Is it also about the eyes? Like the
Definitely,
Yeah.
you can
I get that. Yeah.
see everything.
watch everything.
Uh,
3D.
Yeah, and fantasies. I don't know if I have a lot of. Because is fantasies like, is it like a fantasy or is it like what you like?
Let's maybe agree on fantasy. Fantasy.
So for
That's
me,
a-
that would
that's
be
a
like
less more
being the
abstract.
man
That can
or
be
like
more
being
crazy.
both.
Yeah.
And apart from that, I don't have a lot of like, what's the word? BDS.
Kinky?
Like, yeah, I don't have it. I would try it if someone wants to, but for me, it's not. I don't have that fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
I also think you can have fantasies that you think you want and actually not want when it comes down to it.
Yeah, exactly.
Or because yours is fantastical in a sense that it's physically impossible. So it's, you know, on the one end of the fantasy spectrum. And you know, if your fantasy is having sex on the beach, then that's very achievable. So I think it also depends on the achievability of the fantasy.
Yeah, although you can also fantasize that you're on a beach when you're in a bed. So in that way, it's like it all comes down to right to fantasizing in your head. Yeah.
And when you say like snail sex,
that's my biggest fantasy. Thank you for mentioning it.
In your fantasy, is it about the two having both genitals?
Yeah, I think that. Yeah, but also for me because I realize that when I have sex, sometimes I don't really feel like a woman. So then, for me, I realize that it could really turn me on if I could be the man, and for me, that doesn't necessarily mean like penis or dildo or that kind of stuff, but more of a like an energetic way of being the other gender, or which I think in queer sex is already more present because you have to decide for yourself. You know, it's a little less. I'm not saying that straight people don't know how to do that, but I think that when you're queer, you already have to decide, sort of, because you're more equal if you're, in a way. So, yeah.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah. But when I think about like the question, and then it comes to mind like everything I used to fantasize about, I already did, less or more. And so I really have to think like the fantasies that maybe a bit extremer, not in a kinky way, but like
robot sex. No, I'm just
robot sex.
Sorry, I'm just
steel vagina.
Yeah,
like
what's your answer?
I feel similar to you, where most things that, you know, I felt like, oh, I want to try that. I tried, I think like high on my list currently on my to fuck list is maybe a male, female threesome, but then in exactly the way I feel threesomes or like multiple people are really hard to get the way that you want it to be in your head, which is also why it had never happened for me, because it's just, I was like, don't touch me. In the end, I was like, okay, no. So that I would say. Also because I find like it feels very achievable, but it's actually really hard to get it.
Yeah, but the threesome is still on my list, and I haven't found it or found. Like,
those are also
so
fantasies,
hard
of
to,
course.
Yeah, because
but the same thing is if you've done it, then it's no longer a fantasy, or
is it?
Well,
for me,
you can still. Yeah, okay.
I interpret the question as in, what do you fantasize about in like a sexual context?
Yeah, that's the question.
I really liked what you said about like the gender bending, because I also really like to play with like the gender norms, and I like to like literally fuck the patriarchy in a way. I really like that. And I also like power dynamics in a way, because for me that's also a bit intertwined with like gender roles. So that would be my answer. Like that would be that stuff, but it is stuff I did and experienced, but it's still stuff I like, and I like to think about it, and like
so when you think of it in that way, there's a lot of answers actually, because then like certain locations could be a fantasy, or certain people. Or the number of people, or
specific.
like this or the event, the situation. Yeah, okay. That's interesting.
Next question.
Next.
Are you ready? So this is level 2.
Oof.
Can we handle that? Right. What's the best question someone has asked you in a sexual context? The best question.
Are you God?
Yes. Okay. That's great.
I'm
Have you?
joking.
That'd be so good though.
That
Yeah.
would be a good question. You would be like,
How?
hell yeah.
Like how?
I don't know. The first thing that comes to mind is like, "Are you a good girl?" But but no, I don't really know. I think in general, more as a foreplay or first or second date kind of thing is like, what are you into? That I feel like that's a question you can never go wrong with.
True.
So
Wow.
could you repeat the question again?
Yes. What is the best question someone has asked you in a sexual context?
I would say personally, as a trans person, the best question to me in a sexual context would be, how do you like me to, would you like me to prefer to your genitals? That is like a very good question to
Oh
me.
yeah, like pet names.
No, but more, yeah, like pet names, yes. Shiny cat, that's mine. yeah. Yeah, but I would get that.
I like that. Do people like? Is that something you also like? Have people ask you that and you really liked it, and that's how you know?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. And because for me, it's like, it shows that someone is very inclusive and not only like sees like penis and vagina, but
Right.
looks at personal preference.
Right.
And that to me is very good basis for like intimacy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, it would probably be something dirty that I can't think of right now. But I really like it when people dare to talk a little bit when you're having sex. So when they, and then I can't really think of a specific question.
I can.
Like,
If
yeah,
someone-
Yeah, I mean, I have a lot in my head.
Would you
but
like to
but
sit on my
immediately,
face?
Like, immediately my
Yeah.
mom pops into my head, and I'm like, is she gonna see this? You know? And then I'm like, do I want to say this? But yeah. So go ahead.
Yeah, go
you
ahead.
answer
Well,
it
because
then.
I'm really like, what are you into is of course kind of like the basic, but then I was fantasizing about what if I'm already having sex, and then what could a person say that enjoys me or something. Then it's, I guess, that I can do stuff with her. I like to hear that and to know that she wants to, I don't know, that she like it hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then another thing came to mind is that one time I got the question like, do you mind if I touch your breasts?
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
never got that. But and I was kind of like shocked because I never, like, I identify as like a woman, but then like in real person I'm not. But I'm also not man, I'm also not trans, I don't fucking know. And I told her that, and then when we came to bed, then she asked me that. So that was very mindful. Yeah.
I had
That's
that
nice.
question a couple times too. Yeah, and I realized that the answer also differs.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
one time I'm like,
Yeah.
yes, please, and the other time I'm like, nope.
Yeah, yeah. So,
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
which is interesting.
Nice.
All right. Which part of your body likes to get touched most? Well,
A tits.
Most.
yeah.
Okay,
To get
that is
touched.
important. It's most. Because otherwise I would just be like,
In a
Do you
sexual,
have
is
the
it like
time?
while you're having sex or in general?
I guess it's about,
It's a
Well,
sex game, right?
yeah, so
So it's a pleasure.
pat on the
game.
back.
Well,
It's a
it's
pleasure
there's a
game.
lot of sex on the box. No, okay, sexual. Yeah, sex,
well,
pleasure.
most of the times I don't like to be touched, but then it differs also, like you said, like it differs very much for me per person. So if I'm really into a relationship, then I can be a switch, and then yeah, I still like to be in control. So I like to touch her, and then what she can do, yeah, I don't know, like, oh, I like it when girls with their nails go in my back.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but nothing more.
You're
Right,
rough.
Yeah.
So for me, it'd be my tushy, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Or
don't
like
know.
firm or soft, because I feel that it's not just body parts, but also how.
Yeah, for sure. So I actually feel like all parts and none in the same, you know. So,
Yeah.
but I guess that when I think about what turns me on when you're not in a sexual context and then you're sliding into it. That's my tushy.
Tushy is very cute.
For me, yeah.
Nice. Nice. I said
Nice.
nice. Tush,
You
nice.
said nice.
Okay, so like, yeah, tush, definitely. But also, like, I really like the neck.
Yeah, me too.
Oh yeah.
Or like the
Yeah.
collarbones.
Oh yeah.
I feel that's very sensual. Also like neck and also face because it's so vulnerable.
Yes.
Like, and I don't let. I feel like that's the one part. Okay, anyway. Like, I don't quickly let people touch my face because it's very intimate. So I think like that when I allow someone to do that, then
Yeah.
I open up like a flower.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's
really
nice.
Yeah. Cool.
Next.
All right.
Next.
Next.
What's at the top of your bucket list? Ooh.
Are these things you want to fuck or
Yeah,
what?
what?
No, I'm joking.
Yeah, a bucket list for your sexual desires.
Yeah, I just shared mine already.
But that's
Yeah.
a fantasy,
That's
right?
the fantasy
Again.
part, right?
Yeah,
Or
but
is
well,
this
it is something
more
you
place
want to
within-
do. Because it's like bucket list are stuff you want to
Oh,
do. Bucket
okay.
list is
As
stuff
your
you wanna
sexual
do.
bucket list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what is on top? That is most important. I would say more Sims. Yeah. Like, it's hard to get those. So yeah.
What
But
you gonna
bucket
say?
list suggests that you haven't done it, right? Because bucket is like, I want to do this before I die.
Mm.
Yeah.
Well, but it can also be like, I want to have another threesome just before I die.
Okay, okay. Well, for me, to make it more interesting then, I would say a threesome with like someone with a penis. Because I've had threesomes with just girls or women, but for me it would be interesting to be able to have sex with a penis person
A penis owner?
and actually being turned on, which is never the case when I
Wow,
try
okay,
it
yeah.
with men or with penis people.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, for me that would be nice if I could just like focus on a woman myself and then have like a guy or a penis person do whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe there. that's
Out
interesting.
of
Like how I was
sight.
like,
Out of sight.
yeah. So, but maybe I would still, be interested in that.
Mm.
I guess.
Yeah, I would say threesome again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never did it, but yeah, I think ideal situation would be two random beautiful women, because with my girlfriend, I don't know, I have no idea how that makes me feel to see someone touching her. So yeah, two strangers would be perfect.
Nice.
Two strangers.
Yeah.
But it also seems like a waste to not do it with your girlfriend. We can
Yeah,
talk
I
about that
know.
later. But
I mean, it's not of limits,
Okay.
but yeah, I think for the first time, because I plan to have a lot of threesomes, then not with my girlfriend. Yeah.
you have a long bucket list.
Yeah.
Oh, of course.
The first 20, like top 20 is like threesome.
Yeah.
No, different scenarios.
Nice. Yeah.
already, so.
Different constellations.
Yeah. Yeah, because I can think of several threesome constellations that I'd be interested in.
Yeah.
Next question?
Yeah.
So this is called a visit to the
Compliment.
dark room.
Oh.
Okay, that's nice. Hard or soft? Yeah, it's
Do you
that
have
level
to
3?
choose?
yeah. Do I? Because I would say both, obviously. Because like it's like sweet or salt. Like why exclude one of them? They're
So
both
good to
awesome.
do salt and then sweet and then salt.
Exactly.
Right?
So if you had to choose, right?
Oh.
Because otherwise,
Yeah, let's do it that way.
or
Yeah.
You have to choose. Ooh.
then I'd go for soft.
Same.
Yeah, it's the love making.
Because only hard is, I mean, as a
Yeah.
mostly heterosexual woman, is painful.
Yeah.
It's like, ow.
It's a tough one though.
Yeah,
I
it is.
know, only soft is also
I do agree, like
smooth faster.
hard without the soft is like, it's like a spicy sauce, just drink it out of the bowl.
Yeah.
You know, you need something to dip it with. So I cannot choose. It's too hard.
You can't choose.
It's too hard, so that's hard. Okay.
I think soft then, because then I think about like the intimacy that comes along with it, and the romance. And if it's like only hard, then I think about like less connection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that also taps deeper in what you get out of sex. And I think like I can fuck myself hard still if I want that. So then, and because oftentimes with partners I'm looking for a warm body.
Yeah.
Just like someone, you know, just I feel like it's so much more. It's the flirting, it's the,
Yeah, the
you know, it's
touching,
like, and
yeah.
I feel then the soft parts are probably the most interesting ones for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also build up, right? I mean, if you start soft, you can continue to do things softly. But if you start hard, it's like if you
nowhere to
won't
go.
feel anything after a while, because
That's
it's just
true.
like really. But should we do another one then? Because it's a
there
little
was-
short.
yeah.
Or
Yeah,
one
let's
more,
do that.
Right?
That's me then. What makes you moan? What makes me moan is when someone bites my neck. For sure.
Same.
Yeah, neck biting. Yeah, and most other things. But I feel like
Yeah, that's like I just moan. I'm a moaner. I'm sorry.
I'm a moaner too, but not during makeout. Maybe like once
No,
we
okay.
progress.
Well, although I would do
like a little one, yeah, like,
like,
an appetizer. Do like a little appetizer
like,
moan.
this
being
is so
like,
good.
I think teasing would also make me moan. Like if someone would not give it to me, I'd be
This
like,
question even made me moan. It was like,
yeah. And you?
Sorry, that was very aggressive.
A threesome. I'm just guessing.
Well, when someone goes down on me, or when someone has an orgasm, then it makes me also kind of
Yeah.
like moan, but not extreme, like just.
like you know you're getting the good stuff.
Yeah,
moan.
like,
Like,
yeah.
That's how I
scream.
moan.
The question wasn't what
that's
makes
right.
you
That's my
scream.
moaning.
We could also extend the question to what makes you scream.
Oh.
I never scream, but no, I'm not that like moany, moan
Vocal,
person.
yeah.
Yeah, vocal
Money.
person. No, not really.
I'm not that money. Okay.
But you scream. That's nice.
I don't know. I mean, there's screaming and screaming. I don't
Yeah.
scream like other.
No. I don't
girls
scream like
scream,
my life
but-
depends on it. Right?
I did have times where it was more like afterwards that, you know, when you're done having sex and you realize how quiet it is all of a sudden, and then I think like, I think I was really loud just
Yeah.
now for a long time.
That
Oh,
moment.
yeah.
I was like, why is it so quiet now?
Yeah, or that you think about the neighbors, that you hear a door, and then all of a sudden you're aware of the fact that there's noise in your room. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry for the neighbors.
Fuck 'em.
Fuck 'em.
Fuck 'em.